To save a restaurant that was on the brink of shutting down, the owner actually demanded that all of us work in swimsuits. Anyone who refused would be fired on the spot. Faced with such a ridiculous and degrading demand, as the shift supervisor, I was the first to step forward and say no. The owner immediately fired me in front of everyone. When the owner looked at the others, I thought they would stand up with me, but instead they all chose to quietly give in. I felt helpless and completely confused. When everyone went to change clothes, I stormed into the changing room in anger and demanded to know why they did not speak up with me.
He will fire us. And who will feed my 10-year-old son?
To hold on to this hard-earned job, they had no real choice and were forced to accept it. They then took out the swimsuits and told me not to go against the boss. I refused them outright and turned around and walked away. After the waitresses started working in swimsuits, the restaurant that was about to fail suddenly became packed. Customers kept pouring in nonstop. It even caught the attention of a wealthy investor willing to buy it at a high price. Hearing this, the owner was thrilled. He quickly invited the investor to sit down and prepared to sign the contract. At that moment, I suddenly walked over wearing my uniform. The investor noticed I was the only one not in a swimsuit. He asked the owner what was going on. The owner explained that I was no longer an employee here. Then he stood up and warned me to leave immediately, but this time I was not afraid at all. I spoke directly in front of the investor and exposed how the owner forced the staff to wear swimsuits. The investor admired my courage and even invited me to sit across from him. He then said he would buy the restaurant and promised he would never do what our boss did by making the staff work in swimsuits. That made me very happy, but the investor suddenly asked me to put on a swimsuit and serve him right now. Otherwise, he would not buy the restaurant, and my sisters would have to keep wearing swimsuits and endure constant harassment from customers. Seeing my sisters looking stripped of dignity, I hesitated again and again and decided to sacrifice myself. I thought that as long as I served him once in a swimsuit, everything would finally be over, but I never expected him to make an even worse demand. He said he had not seen the kitchen yet and demanded that I take him there alone to check it out. I refused him without hesitation, but to my surprise, he signed the contract anyway and told me to think carefully about my sisters. As long as I agreed to his request, they would have stable and dignified jobs. To show his sincerity, he filled in the number 1 on the contract, saying he would add zeros after once he was satisfied, so my sisters would no longer have to endure humiliation. I chose to sacrifice myself once again and reluctantly went to the kitchen with him. Seeing that I had agreed, the owner quickly signed the contract. The waitresses who saw everything sensed something was wrong. They suspected I might be in danger, so they rushed toward the kitchen together, but when they burst in, they found that I was completely unharmed and had already changed back into normal clothes. It turned out everything was a test by the investor. His belief was that to run a restaurant well, the most important thing is a united team, and my willingness to sacrifice myself for my sisters earned his full respect. He immediately promoted me to restaurant manager. As for the former owner, he did not care about any of that. All he wanted was his money from selling the restaurant, but the secretary only handed him $1 because he was too impatient earlier and signed before the investor could add any zeros. In the end, he sold his restaurant for just $1.